This video is partnered with Cooliao. Hello, so recently I did a community post asking what you would like to see me make before the end of the year, and most of you voted for another DIY gift idea video, so here we are. But before we get started, I would like to just mention that I have finally opened my own Etsy shop, on which I will be selling mostly printables with my artwork on it, including Christmas cards, which are available for a short time. So if you'd like to have a look at that, I will leave a link down below. For this first one, you're going to want to start with a jar. Any size jar will do, and also long strips of white, rather flexible card. So to start, I applied thin layers of glue to the sides of the lid, then glued down the ends of the thin strips of card. I ended up using about 4 strips of card until I had made a sort of dome shape over the lid. I don't know if I'm explaining that well, but hopefully you can just see what I'm doing. And then to keep everything in place, I just glued a thin strip of card going all the way around the lid, and then just cut off any excess pieces of card. For this next part, you're going to need 1 strip of kitchen roll, a paintbrush, and a mixture of PVA glue and a bit of water. Tear up small pieces of tissue and glue them to the dome using the white glue mixture. Here I'm basically doing papier-mâché. Once the tissue paper was applied as smoothly as I could, I took a long strip of tissue paper and, applying a bit of glue, just rolled it into little thin sausages and then just glued it around the bottom edge of the lid to help make that mushroom shape. And then when that was dry, I applied another 2 or 3 layers just to make sure it's, well, as strong as possible. When all the layers are dry, it was time to paint. And before I painted it, I put some cling film around the jar underneath the lid just to protect the glass from, well, getting painted on. You of course can paint this however you like, but I decided to go with the traditional red with white spots. And that is the first gift idea complete. You can go ahead and fill the jar with whatever you like. So for this next one, you're going to need 2 pieces of 45 by 5 centimeter fabric, 1 piece of 8 by 15 centimeter fabric, and 2 10 centimeter strips of elastic. Start by sewing the 2 long strips of fabric together by the sides, not sewing the ends, and I sewed the middle of the fabric wider than the ends to give it a curved shape. Then I turned the strip of fabric inside out with the help of a pencil, folded the ends inwards, and ironed that flat. Now taking the smaller piece of fabric and the 2 elastic bands, I sewed the ends of the elastic bands to the end of the smaller piece of fabric, making sure to keep them next to each other on one side. And then when that was sewed down, I sewed the other 2 ends together. Then I folded the strip of fabric together, good side to good side, and stretched it out to keep it as smooth as possible. An easier way would probably have been to just fold the fabric in half, turn it inside out, feed the elastic bands through and sew them on either end. But I didn't think about that until afterwards. Anyway, all that's left to do is to stuff the ends into the wider part of the headband and then sew that down. And then you're done. Now let's talk about the Customizer engraving pen. Chances are you've seen this product advertised online, and Cooliao very kindly sent it to me to test. What it is a little tool that can be used to engrave on a variety of items, including wood, steel, glass and stone. It comes with 30 tips in a variety of sizes and shapes, suitable for different materials. I found it very easy to use, especially for someone who has never tried using any kind of Dremel tool before, and it was actually really fun as well to be able to just engrave on a variety of things. I really love my new engraving tool, and it actually brings me on to our final DIY gift idea. To start with, you're going to want a thin strip of wood, the size of an average bookmark. To cut mine out, I just used a crafting knife, and you're going to want to get a responsible adult to do this for you if you are not one yourself. A little tip if you're wondering where to get wood in the first place, and what I did is I just went to my local hardware shop and asked if they were throwing away any strips of wood, which they were, and they let me have it for free, so you could try this yourself possibly. To start off, I just drew my design onto the wood using pencil, and I penciled in a little dot at the top for the hole later on. Then I just went ahead and engraved over the design using my new pen. Because it was my first time engraving on wood, I tested out a few of the different tips to see which ones would work better, and I think I found that I preferred the ones with almost tear shape for going around the design. I tried to see if I could drill the little hole at the top using the Dremel tool, but I couldn't, so what I did instead is I just knocked a little nail lightly with a hammer and then used the drill tool afterwards to just widen and smooth it out. Then I lightly went over everything with sandpaper, not too hard but just a little bit to smooth everything out, and also smooth out the corners a bit. Then of course you could leave the engraving as it is, but I decided to fill mine in with a bit of brown watercolour paint, just to give it a little bit more of a burnt texture. Here's a quick tutorial on how to make a woolen tassel. Wrap wool around your fingers. Cut off the excess. Tie a string through the loop. Pull to hide the knot. Unravel another piece of string to make it thinner. Wrap and tie that piece of wool around the loop, and then cut the loop. And that's how you make a woolen tassel. I didn't actually end up using my woolen tassel, I used a bit of ribbon instead, but the option's there for you. And that is the final gift idea. Thank you again to Kuliao for sending me their engraving pen. I will probably be using it for most of my Christmas presents this year. And that is all for this video. Let me know which gift idea you liked the best down in the comments, and if you're interested in getting the engraving pen either for yourself or as a gift, I will leave the link down below, along with the link to my Etsy shop. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!